I'm John Lee with St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association. And let's see, we got Jim Choik in the car. We got Laura up there. Lloyd will not be with us today. He's at a doctor visit. And we're going to talk about some haves and wants, and then we're going to talk about money on how to get some funding for your real estate deals, which is something that everybody needs and everybody's been asking us about. So we just decided to put together some pretty good details here. So I guess we'll start off, I guess, with Laura here and let her go ahead and do our disclaimer, and then we'll start. Laura?
Good morning and welcome, everyone. First, I'd like to do a bit of housekeeping. Feel free to unmute yourself when it's your turn to speak. Please be mindful of everyone else by muting yourself while others are speaking. You're welcome to put any contact information that you want to share into the chat. We meet here to share deals, look for deals and solutions we have in need with our real estate. We are not your financial advisors, attorney, or accountants. We do not endorse or recommend any specific solution or contractors here. You're advised to do your own due diligence to your own satisfaction before you invest. The first Friday of each month is Ask the Attorney with Ms. Catherine Davis. Our meetings are typically recorded, so only share what you want others to know.
Thank you, Laura. Okay, I guess before we get started, we don't really have too many announcements. I guess we do have a couple. They are changing our the St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association from the breakfast that we previously had last year to a lunch, and that will be in the newsletter coming up. So I'm not sure. I think they're starting in February. I'm not sure about that. We'll find out more details. We do have a CPA at the main event on January, was it 16th? And that'll be very interesting. So if you're a serious real estate investor, you want to make sure you catch that meeting. We are at the Moolah Shrine Center in the Oasis room over on Fifi. And that our networking starts at 6:30, 7 o'clock is our main event. And that's with Elizabeth Watkins, and she's a professional CPA, got a lot of experience, and she caters to real estate investors. So if you got any, in particular, rental properties is what she's really very knowledgeable about. So if you have any rental properties or know anybody that does, I highly recommend that you catch that meeting on the 16th. So I guess we can start off. Does anybody have anything they want to buy or sell today?
Hey, John, how are you?
Hey, I'm doing good. Blake, how are you?
Doing well, thank you. Hey, everyone. My partner and I, we are actually on the hunt right now for a quad-plex anywhere South St. Louis neighborhood. Zip code doesn't matter necessarily. Probably trying to stay maybe away from like Mount Pleasant, some particular neighborhoods in South St. Louis, city. But we are able to close in under 3 weeks, and I'm just looking kind of on the hunt right now. So if anybody happens to know of anyone, or if anybody is looking to move along their portfolio, I would love to connect.
Okay, is there any scope of work that you'd like to share? Like, are you looking for a full rehab or maybe just slight or anything, or any price range, anything like that, Blake?
Yeah. Price range, anything up to about $350,000. As far as rehab goes, I'm not opposed to a little bit of rehab. My strategy for this is a BRRRR. So I'm not necessarily looking for like a full total rehab. But it's all situational. So if you have anything, I'm not turning anything down until we talk. So I appreciate it.
Okay. Would you like to share your contact information that
Yep.
you'd like for people?
And I can put it in the chat as well. Email is info at Silverman, all one word, silvermanrealestate.net. Phone number 636-489-8353.
8353. Yes, and if you could put that in the chat too, Blake, that's very helpful for people to write it down too. And It'll also be available on the replay. So if anybody didn't catch the very beginning, you can always go back and watch this. It'll be on YouTube. I usually get them up. My rule is to get them up by midnight on the same day, just because I make sure I do everything before I go to bed. Otherwise, I get busy. But it's not always in the member section on STLREIA.com until Monday, sometimes depending on the webmaster schedule. So, but you can always get that. So there it is. Thank you, Blake. All right. Anybody else got anything they'd like to buy or sell?
Hello, this is Ron Nash,
Hi,
and
Ron.
hi. I've been a real estate investor since I was 22, and my primary focus is shifting. I'm becoming a hard money lender, and I have several loans out there now as we speak, and I'm interested in acquiring additional funds for investing. I'm willing to pay 10% per annum, and typically I'm looking for around 6 months for a term. All of that's adjustable to suit lenders' needs. I have a property in Hazelwood. It's worth about 130,000, and I would use that for putting a lien against to secure someone's loan that they could give me.
Okay. So you would use your house in Hazelwood as collateral then, Ron?
Yes, it's all
If
paid
needed.
for.
Mhm.
It's worth probably 130 to 140, and so I'd be willing to put a loan up against that to acquire a capital.
Okay. And do you have any contact information you would like to share with us, Ron?
Yes, my phone number is 314-323-1659. My email address is 0921 Ron, RON, at gmail.com. You might want to remember those numerals. Those are my birthday.
Ah, nice. Right. Get your presents ready.
All right. Looking forward to it.
That's a good way to do it. I wish more people would use stuff that's easy to remember.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind putting that in the chat too, so people can write that down, that'd be great, Ron.
Okay.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share with us? Buy, sell? Anybody looking for anything? I'm personally looking for somebody that can clean a yard up for me. Grass cutters I know is a little slow this year, but I've got a yard, it's actually over in Hazelwood, that I would like for somebody to clean up, and I'd be happy to talk to them about it. And you can reach me at 314-291-1717. My email would be ams826@yahoo.com, and I'll go ahead and put that in the chat also. So if anybody knows anybody that's a grass cutter or can clean up yards, anything like that, I know it's kind of a downtime for a lot of people, but I just need to get some stuff done. And anyway, so if you know anybody, have them get a hold of me. Okay, anybody else have anything they'd like to buy, sell? Any projects they're working on, any contractors, anything? No, got a lot of smiling faces. Everybody's in between seasons this week. This is a good week to get a lot of things done, in my opinion. I know a lot of people are down and not doing a lot of stuff, but I just think it's a good time to actually do business this time of year. So
I've got something, John.
sure, Laura.
Hey, everybody. Happy Friday. Happy New Year. I recently closed on a commercial mixed-use building in High Ridge, Missouri. You might remember me talking about this over the past couple months when I was trying to figure out the path forward on the septic system. So I'm now part owner of this building with some awesome local partners, and we do have a brand new septic at this building. So, but anyway, we are looking to find renters, but really ideally someone to seller finance this on contract for deed. We think that the ideal buyer may want to actually use some of the vacant commercial space but also maybe own the entire building, which does include one residential space with performing tenants who pay rent, and a 3-bay garage as well, detached 3-car garage. So anyway, it's in High Ridge. It's on High Ridge Boulevard in a good location. Again, we're looking to seller finance at $360,000, and we're looking for 10% down. Or, you know, also if anybody would not be interested in actually buying seller financed or contract for deed, and they just would want to rent it or know someone who would want to rent some space in this area, it looks like it could be used for a lot of different businesses. There are half bathrooms involved. There's a kitchen. I can supply plenty of pictures. It's on lockbox. So I know I'm kind of just throwing a lot of info out there, but wanted to get out there that we are now owners of that property. It's pretty good property, and want anyone to reach out to me who may be interested in learning more, and I can answer any questions you have, provide pictures. We can break down numbers a little bit more detailed as well as we begin to talk. And that's what I've got.
That's great, Laura. I know you're flexible, and that's one thing I've always really admired about you too, because I know Laura kind of thinks out of the box a lot of times, and you can kind of tell by the way you've said this here. So, what is your contact information, Laura, that you would like to give out?
Yeah, absolutely. So over the years, I've always given out my Google Voice number, and I just am switching to my personal cell because those texts seem to come through much more clearly. So anybody, you can still use either number. If you have my old number, still use either number, but I'm going to go with area code 719-648-8365 is my phone number. I'm going to put all this in the chat too. My email address is my name, Laura, Laura, .c as in cat, .Lennington, LENINGTON @gmail.com. I will put this in the chat too, but the address is 3100 High Ridge Boulevard in High Ridge, Missouri. Again, it's basically calling it 4 units, 1 2-bedroom apartment with performing tenants. And then 2 basically commercial, like where they could be office spaces or storefronts or even just storage, commercial spaces. I don't know exact square footage. I would think 2,500-ish square feet between the 2 of them. And then 1 detached 3-bay garage. I'll even put a link to pictures in the chat as well. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. And by any chance, did you talk to Scott, the closet guy? Because his son was looking for something about a month ago, I think.
Right. I actually do still have that note, and I haven't reached out to him yet, but I will absolutely do that. And I have it in my CRM to call him. Yeah, if I remember correctly, it was like a rehearsal space they were looking for. So I'm not sure how the noise can play out, but I'm absolutely like you said, John, people, do reach out to me if there's 1% interest in this, because who knows what we could come up with together as far as how to let this benefit a buyer, a renter, myself, all of us. It's all about the win-win. So yeah, John, I'll reach out to them for sure. And again, just not sure if it would be a fit, but we'll definitely talk. And I just want to, echo that to everybody. If you ever see me working on anything in real estate, just keep in mind that I'm always open to the conversation and to being flexible to create win-wins. So yeah, thanks.
Yep, absolutely. Laura's a great problem solver, and just somebody that comes from a good place, good heart. So
thank you. Appreciate you. Okay.
Yes, thank you. And if you don't mind putting your contact information in the chat for us, that'd be great.
Doing that right now with some details of that building. Thank you.
All right. Okay. Anybody else have anything they'd like to share? Or just here to find out about money? Okay. Well, we talked a little bit, some of the different ways. There's traditional ways, there's non-traditional ways. Ron mentioned the fact of hard money. That's a way a lot of us get funding. And I've asked Carrie here, who does a little bit more traditional, but does some commercial stuff, if she would mind just telling us a little bit about some of the ways that we deal with traditional money. Carrie, Carrie Kelsey, she's from New Frontier Bank. She's got a broken leg, and she's still with us, and we really appreciate her here to share some things with us. So, Carrie, would you like to say, just go ahead and tell us about funding?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to talk about this. Seems to be something that I get really excited to talk about is financing. As John said, I'm with New Frontier Bank here located in St. Charles, Missouri. We're getting ready to build a branch in Lake St. Louis. It's under construction right now. So if that's interesting to anybody, let me know. One of the things that John, wanted to talk about, or me particularly address, and one of the things that I kind of spoke to John about before is the most important thing in my mind when you're going to talk to a lender, a traditional bank lender, is be prepared. Be prepared in knowledge of what you're looking for, how you want to move in your business plan and how you want your company to grow, as far as, how many investments that you'd like to obtain, and most of all, know financially where you are. There's certain things that lenders can tell you, this is what I have to have. And the thing that sometimes investors don't realize is, this house is going to make money, or this is going to happen. But right now we need to know, where you sit financially in order for us to be able to lend on a, I hate to say if come maybe, but things happen, and we just need to be prepared, just like you guys do. One of the things that I want to talk to is the things that we require when you come. We require typically 3 years of your personal and corporate tax returns, personal financial statement, rent roll, debt schedule. And really, if it's a refinance from another institution, then we would need to know those terms. But also, we'd like to let you know that we would do 80% LTV on the appraisal amount of a refi. If it's a purchase, we do 80% of the purchase price, unless there is an opportunity for you guys to rehab. If you're looking for funds to rehab, New Frontier offers a 12-month interest-only rehab product that allows you to go in and rehab the project on a interest-only basis, turning it into a P&I at the end of the project once you get that completed. So that always helps too, because we can do an as completed appraisal, and then that way you'll kind of know where your pro forma is, and the rent that you're looking to obtain, and get those numbers together and be able to present it to a lender so that it's kind of all thrown right there. They can take a look at it. One of the things that I always say, it doesn't go if it doesn't cash flow. So keep that in mind. We require, obviously, the potential loans to cash flow. We do look at a global cash flow unit. We also look at pro formas that allow us to tell, where are you going with this project? What do you think? Like I said, what do you think the rent's going to be, your expenses, taxes, insurance, PTIT, everything that you have, where do you think you're going to be? And we can run a formula, and we can get to a debt service. A debt service is really just the ability to be able to see how you can pay for the product. It's called debt service ratio coverage. I don't know if you've ever debt service. A lot of people call it a lot of different things. Most lenders require a 1.25 times on a debt service ratio. What that means is for every dollar you have debt, you would have $1.25 in cash flow coming in, if that makes sense. So, that's typical in the industry, that, the cash flow needs to be there. We do look at, you guys have intimate businesses. You guys are small investors in terms of, the intimacy, like a lot of your personal funds are put in there. A lot of you guys just group everything together, on a Schedule E on your personal tax return. So it kind of is, it is intimate, whereby we would take a global. And what that means is that we would take all of your rentals, along with all of your personal information, and put that together to get a debt service, if you will. So that's just kind of the traditional lending. That's kind of letting you know what you need to be prepared when you go talk to a lender. One important thing is we want to loan money. We do. But we want to work together and develop that relationship and walk that walk with you guys. It's just important to find a lender who understands what your business model is, understands, like I said, where you want to go. where do you want to take this? Do you just want to own, flip and, and be done with it? Or do you want to own these properties and rent them? What's your experience in renting? Those kind of things. I know back in, a few years ago when things were kind of crazy, everybody thought they could be an investor. Everybody thought, oh my goodness, I see a house at the front of my street. I could make so much money on that. That's not true. Not everybody can be an investor. So keep that in mind too. But there's just, rates right now are still kind of where they're at and what they're doing. We're probably at 8.25 on that type of thing. If it's a line of credit for a construction loan, for a adjustable rate, we're at prime minus a quarter, I think. At fixed rate, we're at prime plus a quarter. So there's some options to see where you can go. Right now, prime's at 8.5. Don't see, obviously, it's not going to raise anymore this year, but they're thinking it's going to be a soft landing for next year. So hopefully, people, I think the strategy was for, 3.5 rates aren't prime is never probably going to come back in our world. But, taking it to 8 or 9, that's really a shocker compared to what we were and what we were paying. I think the feds are really trying to get us comfortable with, a 6% rate. If you got a 6% rate right now, you think, oh my gosh, that's a great rate. You forget that they took it all the way up so they can bring it down so that everybody's going to be comfortable with that rate and try to keep that in their minds. So there's not that sticker shock, if you will. So, but yeah, that's the rates. I'd love to answer any questions and be more specific on anything that you guys might be dealing with, or have lenders that, questions. If anyone has questions, I'd happy to answer.
Thank you, Carrie. I love if it doesn't go if it doesn't cash flow. That's first time I've heard that. That
Yeah.
makes total sense. And you said $1 debt and you need $1.25 cash flow. That's a good number to have, a good mark to have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of just sets the plat. It says you can pay for this. You can pay for some extraordinary expenses that happen, that kind of thing. So that's kind of what lenders are looking for. Like I said, with a global debt service, if the property may not cash flow, but you have a strong net worth and that type of thing, you can put those together and find that happy medium. So we do use those strategic, financing as well.
That's very good information. Thank you so much, Carrie.
For sure.
Appreciate that. Now, would you like to give out your contact information and also put it in the chat, please?
Absolutely. My name's Carrie Curley. I'm with New Frontier Bank here in St. Charles. My email is carrie.curley. I think it's under my name up there at New Frontier or newfb.com. My phone number is 636-940-8740. I'd be honored to talk to anyone who would like to even just chat. If you have a lender, that's fine. But if you just want to kind of get some knowledge or kind of understand maybe what your lender's thinking, I'd be happy to talk with anyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Jerome Jackson, looks like you got your hand up. Would you like to?
Yeah, I had a
maybe
couple
turn your camera on?
questions. Are you able to hear me?
Yes.
Carrie, do you guys, would you write loans for individuals or LLCs that are not local to the market?
Yes, we do, but we require the property to be within our trade area, which is St. Charles and the surrounding counties, which does include St. Louis County. The city, we kind of don't go that far. If it's, like I said, if it's a situation that, you have your portfolio with us and this is just something that, you want this house that you want in the city, we could work something out. That's typically, we don't go as far as the city.
Well, more specifically, I have clients that live in California. Will you write them a loan?
We could potentially write them along, as long as they're either one, they have a management company here or some kind of, somebody taking care of this property. It's not just, them trying to manage this from California, but the LLCs in California, that's not a problem. Like I said, we just require our collateral to be within, hand's reach.
What's your minimum FICO score?
FICO, those, one of the things I say, I can give you a minimum, I would say, like what, 650, 675, something like that. But one of the things that I need to reiterate too is that when commercial lenders are looking at loans, it's not a cookie cutter process. You don't have to fit within this matrix to be able to get the loan. There's, extenuating circumstances. There's different things that lenders need to look at. So we look at the deal on its own merits. We look, why do you have a 650 or 675 score? Is it medical? If it's medical, fine. I'm fine with that. If it's a foreclosure, yeah, that might be a tough one. But, there's different things like that. So just keep in mind that you need a lender who is going to be a little bit more open-minded and going to look at the deal and you on your own merit.
Regarding your DSCR loans, will you accept the rental rate on the lease, or do you go off the local market rental rate for that area?
Well, if that's a construction and you're doing a pro forma for me, obviously we'll look at online rental in the area, market rents, if you will, and figure it out there. Typically, we'd like to see pretty much the rents around market rental, and we can deal with that. But we do some, we get your input, we look at the internet and see what market rent is, and then kind of take it from there.
Okay, I'm a broker, so I have a couple of deals that I might want to talk to you about.
Sure.
We can do that offline.
Yeah,
But thank you.
absolutely. Sounds great, Jerome. Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else have any other questions for Carrie? This is a good opportunity right here to ask those detailed questions. And obviously the best thing to do is one size doesn't fit all. We all have individual circumstances. So you'll want to get a hold of her with any personal questions or situations just like that. But that was great. Thank you, Jerome.
Hi, I have a question.
Sure,
for Carrie. Can she give Carrie, can you give an example of that 1.25, like in purchasing a property? Let's say it's 100,000 and the rent's a certain amount. Can you give an example how that's figured?
Yes, I can. So what you would do in order to figure debt service is you would take your rents and annualize those. So you would take, say, your monthly rent, say it's $100, and you annualize that over 12 months. That's $1,200. Well, then you take any other income that property produces, whether, you rent a shed and it's something totally different or whatever. Then you have that gross rental income. And then what you would do is you would subtract your taxes, your insurance, and an estimated expenses, whether that's property management, whether, you are going to figure, I'm going to have to go in here for $50 a month, and that's going to be my average. So you take that and you deduct that from you take your net rental income, you deduct your expenses, including your, the principal and interest of the payment. You'd have to compute the payment to find out what that is, your taxes, your insurance, and expenses. Once you get that number, then you would divide that number into your income. And if it's 0.125 or more, then you are fine. Does that make sense?
Yes, I understand. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, those are good numbers to know too, Carrie. That's a real good thing. It's kind of a mental thing to keep in the back of your mind as you're figuring your deals. That's great. Now, are there any, one question I have, are there any limitations on how many loans you can have? Do you limit people on 5, 10, 3, or is there anything like that? Or does it just depend on your business as you go?
Well, that's a great question, John. A lot of people ask us that. When we're beginning a new relationship, obviously we'd like to build that relationship and season that relationship. We'd like to know how you and I get along together, how how supportive I am, and how financially supportive you are, and get that relationship grounded. Once that relationship moves and we've had like a home or two seasoned, then we could build that portfolio. There's not a number of homes that we want on our portfolio. Basically what it is it's what do we feel comfortable? When have we reached our lending limit? In terms of, sometimes we have to deal with concentrations. We can't have too many of our rentals in a certain zip code. We couldn't have, too many of, 1 to 4 families or commercial real estate or something like that. So us as a banker have to make sure that we don't put all of our eggs in one basket per se. So, we look at that too. So it's never just I'm doing 5 houses and that's it. You need to find someone else. That's not the relationship that we want to build. We'll walk that walk with you until we get to that point where you and I say, hey, I'm happy with what I have with you and I love this relationship. Let me find somebody who, I have a plethora of lenders that I know and competitors that are great people, that, I could certainly, they would love to do, stuff and have a relationship like you have with me. So, yeah, but there's not really a number. I get asked that question a lot, but there's not really a number. It's just really financially, what can I be comfortable with you doing financially?
Thank you. And that's a great point you brought up right there, is people do business with people and not necessarily deals. And that's something I've found with a lot of my groups, and especially some of the higher level. I mean, it's not that they're any better. They just got a lot more money than some of the other people. And that's some of the stuff that I'm going to share with you here, some of the non-traditional ways, and show you how the people, with basically some of them with hundreds of millions, even billions of dollars. And there's plenty of money, if the deal is right, but more importantly, if the person is right, because people do business with people and not necessarily things. I mean, the only problems I've ever had is with people. If there wasn't for people, we wouldn't have any problems, and that's just pretty much how it works. I mean, you can look at your problems and it usually all boils down to a person, or a group of people, or could be a family member. They could be in your same house. Who knows? I mean, there's all kinds of stuff. But that's one thing that I've noticed and I've learned, just by watching too. And some of the stuff I'm going to share with you in here, and I just got a real sharp set of slides I put together just to show you how some of these people do some of this stuff, and stuff I got from my coach. And one of the things I want to just point out is coaching is very valuable. Now, there's different coaches for different things. I have a book coach. I have a mentor, which is different than coaches. Then I have coaches like business coach and, and different ones for depending on what I'm doing. I know a lot of us, especially when we're new, I know I didn't want to spend money on some of that kind of stuff. Well, there's 2 ways to grow, especially in real estate. You can either take the decades it takes of trial and error and experience and good and bad, or you can go ahead and buy your way into some of this stuff and maybe shave off some of the years and some of the, and learn from somebody else's experience. So that's just, that's what I've chose to do, in a lot of areas of my life. Some things are worth more than others. I mean, I've spent a lot of money over the years on education and I don't regret any of it. Just some of it I wouldn't do again. So, okay. Any more questions, I guess, for Carrie? And then I'll just show you mine. Like I said, I put together just a couple slides just to show you how some of these people, how you can get money from some of these people. Because the how is very important. We all need money for our real estate deals. Okay, well, and let's see here. Okay. All right. Can you see my screen here, guys? So yes. Okay. All right. I'm going to show you. And this is something I did learn from one of my coaches, my business coach, JT Fox. He's personally done over 1,000 real estate deals. That's how he made his first $100 million. And then they kind of went from there. And this is a good group to learn from. And I'm just going to show you some of the details that I've learned over the last couple of years, some of the stuff to do and some of the stuff not to do. This is how to get funding you need and how to pitch your deal. Okay, you want to get it right the first time. You only have one chance at your first impression. So that's why I put this together, just so you could have some of the fundamentals here. You're only as good as your last deal. And the real estate must be under contract. Anytime you go to talk to somebody about money, you need to have it already wrapped up. You don't want to talk in hypotheticals, because you're just wasting your time and their time, and you want to definitely be respectful of everyone's time and money. You want to aim when your initial contact, you want to aim for about a 3 to 5 minute slide presentation is best if you're doing something like this. If you're talking on the phone, it might be a little different. If you're in person, have your stuff printed out or written out, and you want to what your whole idea is to you want to create enough interest So they want to go into a like a deep dive with you. And less is more, and that's what I was talking about right here. Your objective is to create interest for a deep dive where you can really get into numbers, figures, and more of the details. Kissers, this is something I say a lot, but you want to keep it simple, really simple, especially in the real estate, area. A lot of people like to make stuff complicated. One of the things I liked what Carrie just said, she's simplified a lot of this stuff for you. And that's something, some of the higher level people, they'll want things really simple. The more complicated you make it, the more people, a complicated mind always says no. So just keep that in mind as you're putting your deals together. All right. Your pitch deck, it must be in a presentation format, like a PDF or a PowerPoint. If you know OBS or something like that, you can do that and write it out. If you're in person, bring your journal and have your figures written on your page. That's always really good. I mean, we do a lot of things, especially when you're pitching deals to some of the high level investors out there. They're not necessarily going to be in your town, so you are going to want to make this look as good as you can. Your first slide, you want to get right to the point. You want to, you're going to have some things like how, and I'll give you an example here on one I did just to show you here in a little bit. But the first thing is you want to show how much money you're looking for. What is the opportunity? How much is the return? Okay. How is the investment secured? Is there collateral? Ron just mentioned the point that he's willing to use security on a house he has for money in Hazelwood there. That's a very good way to do it. Put that out front. And how long will the funds be out? Okay, you're going to have an idea of how long their money's going to be out. What's the return on the investment? And typically they do the ROI on an annualized basis, and you can, if it's like 6 months, then you'll cut that in half. I like to do everything a little bit longer though, just to make it look better, and that way you have room for a little bit of leeway because things do happen. All right, the next few slides, what they suggest is the second one. This is the details of the opportunity, the house or business opportunities, some statistics, scope of the work, financials, things like that. The next one is you want to share pictures of the deal, the business, inside out, maybe some location comps, things like that, comparables. And then the next one, then you want to provide information on the background of the principals involved and those wanting the money. You don't necessarily want to tell your story up front. This is not like Shark Tank when you actually talk to investors. You want to they don't really care about your story until they care about the deal. You first got to get their attention and make them interested in the deal to want more information. Then you want to kind of sum it up with a little bit about you. And I'll show you an example of that in a minute. You want to be professional. This is something I've seen, I don't know how many times over the last couple of years. People just, you want to make your presentation on a computer, not a cell phone. I've seen people in coffee shops and all, the things dropping, all kinds of craziness. Dress for success. You don't necessarily want to, need to wear necessarily a tie or something, but to look like you care enough. There was somebody a couple of weeks ago talking about they did not get money from somebody. This was early on, a few years back, and the guy, somebody else asked him several weeks later why they didn't invest with this guy. He said the guy didn't even care enough to shine his shoes. He had some old ragged shoes on when he met him, and this was an in-person meeting. So just kind of keep that kind of stuff in mind. Practice before you pitch your deal. I don't know how many times I've seen this, even in the last couple of weeks. People put their stuff together, but they didn't practice it. I mean, we've all been on Zoom now. Some of us since, for 15 years, but everybody's been on Zoom for the last 2 or 3 years. So at least know how the stuff works, how to unmute yourself, how to change your slides, practice a little bit. Situational awareness. This is something that I've noticed that a lot of people don't pay attention to. This is actually critical when you come to talking to people, especially when you're getting money, because you do only have one opportunity for your first impression. And here's a sample deal I put together. Now, these are just some figures I threw together. Your deal will be different. This is for a fix and flip, which seems to be what most people are looking for early on, but it doesn't have to be. If you're going to have a buy and hold or something like that, maybe you can't qualify for traditional financing. Maybe you can, but what happens a lot of times, you run out of money or you have too many deals coming in, depending on who you are. So this is just how we put these together, and you can kind of craft yours around your deal, around your actual numbers. This one here we put together, just call this a STL rehab. The investment opportunity or ask, in this case, the numbers we're using is $174,000. And again, you need to have this under contract. So we'd say by, I don't know, February 1st or March 1st or whatever the date may be, this is when we need the money by. Okay, our return, we're going to return you for your $174,227,500 in 12 months. That's the ROI, return on investment, which would be about 31%. That'll be adjusted more or less depending on when you actually return the funds. Investment is secured by real estate. You're going to want to secure it in the first position with the home here. Then again, if maybe you don't have a lot or there isn't enough, you can use your personal real estate. Just kind of like Ron told us earlier, this is something you can do. It's highly recommended, even if you don't need it, because you're just showing that you're willing to back up what you're talking about here, and you're going to look at more of the person as a person of value, which is huge when you're asking for money. Then in this case, we're going to say we estimate 6 to 9 months. So, but we did illustrate our ROI on 12 months just for illustrative purposes. If it's better, then it's going to turn out better. Again, if it's 6 months, you're going to double that, but usually that's not the case. A little more details on our next slide here. We talk about we got the address, and then, this in this particular case, this is a 3-2, 1,285 square foot. This is kind of some pictures of the inside. Our contract price, we're going to say, is $119,000. Again, our closing date, whatever that might be, March 1st, February 1st, whatever that is. We're going to estimate our rehab cost about $55,000, and this is, of course, going to be adjusted. You're going to go over the complete details in your deep dive whenever you have that set up, but that's going to be in this case, for our example, we're going to say $45,000. Then I always like to have what they call the unknown or the fudge factor, $10,000. This could be extra holding costs, closing costs, whatever may come up. You might open up a wall and find out you got something else, or maybe a permit you didn't count on. Even though most of us, around that we're asking for money, we have a little bit of experience, but there are unknowns almost every time. Just ask anybody that's ever done a rehab and ask them if everything went perfect. I've never found the answer to be yes, but that's something I like to leave a little bit of money in here for that. ARV, in this case, we're going to guesstimate at 285 plus or minus. And here's how we break this down. In this case, we're going to have a profit of $111,000. We're going to split this 50-50 with the money person, okay, the investor. In this particular case, $55,500, but this is what's going to set you different for most of the pitches I see out there. The ones that get funded easier is another way to put it, is you'll guarantee the minimum for like an investor of $50,000. So let's say the deal doesn't go exactly as planned, and let's say your profit is only $90,000 or $80,000 or whatever the case may be. You still guarantee a minimum of $50,000 for the investor, no matter what goes on. If something goes wrong, you're willing to take that upon yourself. Now, the next slide we have, this would be like your comps or comparables. And this, you want to do a little bit of homework here, because I guarantee you, if somebody gets down to the point where they're interested enough to find out more details, they are going to see your figures, and you don't want to have anything too far off. So in this case here, we've got one comp. It's a 3-2, similar, 1,192 square foot, sold October 27th for $293,000. We've got another one here that's fairly close by, 13 to 112 square foot. It's a 2-2, sold back in June for $313. Now the market has changed a little bit since then too, so you want to keep all that in mind, because the markets do change, and you want to pretty much be up on that as much as you can. The third one we got here is a little bit smaller in square foot, a little bit less money. It's a little bit different house. This was not rehabbed. So you can have all those details together when you get ready to really go over the details on your deep dive here. Then you tell a little bit about yourself. You could just then they're ready a little bit for your story. Don't give too much of your story unless the people ask for it, though. In this case, we're going to call ourselves the STL Profit Kings. And I'll be the owner here. I'm Freddie Faguberg. Here's my email, profitfred@stlprofitkings.com. If there's any questions before we get together with more details, we've been 3 years in our business here as the Profit Kings, but I've had 10 years experience in construction. Okay, and then we've done 4 fix and flips in addition to our regular construction work we do. We've done 4 fix and flips in the last 3 years. Our profit range from $43,300 to $101,500, and they've ranged from 4 months to 9 months. Then we're going to have our deep dive, and I recommend you already have the schedule. And our Q&A on Zoom, we're going to have it Tuesday, 3 o'clock Eastern time, and then have your date, have your link all set up for anybody that wants more information. You can give that to them readily and have it readily available for them, because people will sign up right away. Tuesdays seem to be good days. I don't know. There's a lot of psychology that goes behind a lot of these things, but Tuesdays is a good day in the afternoon to ask for money. You notice I put Eastern time on there. Most people go by either Eastern time or Pacific time. I recommend Eastern time just because people are a little more, more used to getting that. And a lot of people get confused on Pacific time. I know I do too. I do a lot of things, but if it's too late too, it's, I fall asleep a lot of times late at night on some of the Pacific time meetings. So just be aware, and, then again, just have situational awareness when you want to do this, or find out, who your audience is and what time and day is best for them. It could be different. Okay, we're just going to wrap it up here with a couple things. How to get funding you need, get it right the first time. That's huge. You don't get a second chance for a first opinion here. Before you pitch, you must have a deal. This is what a lot of people miss. There's a lot of people that don't know how to get deals. It takes a long time to really figure it out. You're not going to just necessarily go get a deal that's listed. That's not necessarily a deal if it's on the MLS. This is something you're going to have to know how to do, and that comes from experience or from getting in the right groups. Under promise and over deliver. This is huge because most of us, even us experienced a little bit, but especially when we're new, we want to always talk about the best possible scenario. My recommendation is do the best possible scenario, the worst possible scenario, and the most likely possible scenario. You should base your numbers and your opinions on the most likely, or even possibly the worst. I like to use the worst numbers because there's so many things you don't count on. That's what comes up a lot. So just keep that in mind, because you only got one shot at it. If you don't have a good deal, you're not going to get funded the next time. Treat investors' money and time with more respect than your own. That's, again, I like to use a minimum guarantee when you're talking about it. We're going to split the money 50-50, but I'm going to guarantee you, X amount of dollars no matter what. Respect that. I'll tell you what, you will go further than anything else by doing that. I've seen people not do that, and not only will you not get another deal. I've seen lawsuits. People come after you for lawsuits because I guarantee you they can afford probably a lawyer that can beat up your lawyer. So just keep that all in mind when you're doing this. Just respect their money and their time. If something goes bad, be on top of it. Be honest, be transparent about the stuff also. And investors, we talked a little bit about this, but investors and high level people, actually, they invest in people and not necessarily deals. Okay, deals is what you must have, but you must be a person of integrity. And that goes right along with here. What kind of person are you when the deals go bad? Because the deals do go bad. I have yet to see anyone that's had 100%, record. The deals do go bad. And are you a person of value? Are you willing to take the loss? How much are you willing to eat up of your own time and money to be a person of value? That's, because you'll move up a lot further than a lot of people out there just by doing what you say and being a person of value. And again, I got this from T. Harv Eker many years ago, and you hear some people say this now, but how you do anything is how you do everything. And watch this on how you talk to people and what they say and what they do, because this, if they do stuff on the little things, if they fudge, if they do things wrong, they're going to do it on everything. So just keep that in mind as you're dealing with people, and as you're thinking about what you're doing. Get it right the first time. Keep learning. This is an ongoing thing. Most of these things that I have here, I've learned in the last couple of years, because I've pitched lots of deals and I've seen people do it. This is actually the way to do it, how to get funded, that I've learned from some pretty high level people. So just keep learning. You want to develop profit sharing partnerships and win-win-win. Okay, that's what it's all about. Even if you're willing to, give the money person a little bit more money, you're looking for a long-term relationship. Profit sharing partnerships is what you really want. And win-win-win deals, there's always at least 3 people involved in the deal, or 3 parties. Make sure everybody wins. One of the things that I've heard a lot lately is, who wins if I win? And you want to, Ramy Albatraoui, he's written a book, Can You Think and Grow Rich? It kind of goes along with the original Napoleon Hill version, except he's a billionaire now. He was broke and homeless back like 4 years ago, and he rebuilt everything, got sued by the government. It's a longer story if you want to look him up. But one of the things he goes by is, who will win if I win? And that's how you want to approach every deal. Don't necessarily look at only me, and what am I going to get out of it? Because you want to make sure everybody profits, because you want profit sharing partnerships. Real estate, and you want to be here, network with us every week. I mean, this is a place you can come and share your deals. We have no cost to, for this. We've done this. It'll be going in 5 years, coming up here in the spring. This is with STLREIA members and guests. We have people from all over the country. We also have people, a lot of international people that have tuned in. We've had people from India, from New Zealand, from Australia, from all over the place. And you're always welcome to come here. It is no cost. We just get here to share deals, talk about things. I mean, we're not necessarily recommending anybody, but we talk, and you can find out a lot of things here. A lot of deals are done here. STLREIA, the St. Louis Real Estate Investors Association. If you're not a member, I'd recommend you become one. Our membership, we're all volunteers here right now, so we're volunteering our time. We pay the same dues as everybody else. It's still only $75 a year, and that's for you and your business partner. That's 2 people at the same address. So if you're at different addresses, you get 2 memberships. I mean, it's only $75. We are nonprofit. There's a lot of groups out there. And there's a lot of good groups too. There's a lot of them that are for profit. They charge a lot more money on their memberships, and then they sell programs and things. Nothing wrong with that. Just be aware of that. And then there's a lot of groups out there that just want to sell their deals, and that's why they've gotten together. Nothing wrong with that either. But I would highly recommend extra due diligence if you're talking to a group like that, because a lot of times what I've seen is the deals are not necessarily. They'll say they're off-market deals and not necessarily listed. A lot of them, there's a reason they're not listed, because maybe they cannot sell them somewhere else. If you're new, even if you're, we talk about starters or part-timers. There's a lot of people with full-time jobs, but still do this. Still invest in real estate. We have a lot of people in our group like that, which is good that we call them part-timers, but they still have, they're still full-time in real estate and their regular jobs. Then we have a lot of people, like myself and like a lot of us here we consider lifetimers. It's in our blood. You can't get away from it. So, and the only other thing, if you want to get a hold of me, I've got some other resources and things. Here's just one of my websites. You can go there and get some things at no cost. And there's just some more things you'd like to know. So that is all I have. And I just wanted to bring that up to you. Anybody have any questions or any comments or anything I want to say about that? Everybody know where to get all their money now. How to get their money. Okay. Anybody else have anything they want to share again today? Jerome, you got your hand up? Feel free to unmute yourself.
I'm a broker. That's my major business, and I provide numerous services, and mainly especially with new investors, I work with them and show them what they need to do on how to get their funding. Then I also consult with seasoned investors and help them build their business credit, which is an issue that a lot of small businesses face. So I posted my information out there. If anybody had general questions, feel free to call me, or if you had a deal you want to talk about, just give me a call. But, my service is free, my advice is free, and I only get paid if we close a deal together. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Jerome. I see you got an Illinois phone number. Are you like on the east side somewhere?
I live on the Illinois side, but most of my business is in the metro St. Louis area, but I can also do business across the country.
Okay.
And I can do your 1 to 4 units and also commercial, SBA, etc.
Okay, thank you. Okay, anybody else got anything you'd like to share with us today? I know we covered a lot of stuff, and
Hey, John,
yes.
I had one.
Yeah, sure,
I
Amber.
jumped on today because I was looking for, I think a little while back, maybe a month or so ago, there was a lady who had a cleaning business, or she was looking for some services to help with cleaning. I have a duplex. The first floor is my Airbnb. They're actually leaving in January, and then upstairs, the second floor is my long-term tenant. He is actually moving in February as well, or January and February. So I'm looking for a house cleaner recommendation if anybody has one.
Okay, yeah, somebody was here a few weeks ago. I can't remember who that is.
Yeah, and I went back through our recordings and I couldn't find her.
Let me look through my notes and see if you don't happen to remember what day that was, do you, by any chance?
No, yeah, like I said, I went through probably 6 or so videos trying to find her.
Okay, I'll see if I can find that for you, Amber.
Amber, I actually have the name written down, but I'm out of town and I know the information's in my truck at home. Sorry, but it's going to be a couple more weeks before I get back home.
Okay. Well, I will always be here, so I'll make the request. I have some time, so I'll make the request again next week.
Okay.
Yeah, that's great, John. Yeah, once you get home, if you don't mind sharing that with us, that'd be very helpful for a lot of us. So appreciate that. All right. Anybody else have anything you'd like to share with us today? Nope. Everybody ready for the new year? Ready to kick off? What is it? 2024. Amazing. Just this next week. So wish you all the best to everybody here. It's going to be a great year. And every year is different. I can promise you that. That's the one recommendation, or the one thing I can predict also is if you make your deals the win-win-win, everybody will win. They will be better than if you don't. I will predict that. So, all right.
Amber, hi Amber, this is Ann. I do have that number for the cleaning person.
Oh, thanks, Ann. Let me grab a pen real quick.
Thank you, Ann.
You know, when you're ready.
Okay, go ahead, Ann.
Yeah, the name was Diamond Johnson, and the phone number, area code 314-724-7112.
Yeah, Diamond
Thank
Johnson.
you.
Thank you, Ann.
Oh, no problem.
If I remember right, she was looking for a place for her and her daughter too. I'm not sure if it was a rental she's looking for. I don't remember.
I do remember that. Yep, I will give her a call and see if she found something because my second floor may be perfect.
Well, that may be perfect. And like you said, Amber, yeah, but yeah,
That would really work well. Yeah.
yeah. And maybe if you don't mind, after you talk to her, just to come back and share with us, if you guys came up with anything too, that's always helpful to hear people come back. Cause I know a lot of times we don't come back and share what we learn, but we can all grow and learn from that. It helps us all. So thank you very much. Okay, and let's see, Denise, you asked if we're going to share the slide. Yes, we will have the replay. It'll be available on the STLREIA website on the member section, but I'll also have it on YouTube. I'll have that on there by midnight tonight. If you if you can't find it or you need a link to it, just send me a request. I'll send it to you. I know it's a lot of information gone over real quickly. It's this stuff I learned in the last 2 years. So it's, put together 2 years worth of information quickly is, we don't always get all the details, but it's really good stuff. If you just follow that simple format, you'll get your deals funded a lot more often than not. And another shout out, thank you to Carrie. I know she's still got her broken leg and got some complications with that, but she's still got a smile on her face. So we appreciate you very much coming and sharing your knowledge. And if you need money, reach out to Carrie. Got her information in there. Would you like to share your information one more time verbally for us, Carrie?
Sure, John, thank you so much. I'm honored to talk to you guys and do this. I'm really grateful. Thank you. My name's Carrie Curley. I'm with New Frontier Bank, and my email address is under there, but I'll say it. It's carrie.kerley@newfb.com. My phone number is 636-940-8740. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Anybody else have anything they would like to share with us before we wrap up? Because it's right about 12 and we've gone 1 minute over, but that's okay too. We can stay here as long as you want, but I think most of us are ready to get our New Year's going too. So, okay, well, thank you all for tuning in today and joining us again. Don't forget us every Friday. We haven't missed one in a while, and we don't plan on missing any. So even if I'm not here, I know there was 3 of them I couldn't be at personally, but I made sure that we were still on. So, and I'll continue to do that as long as is possible. And feel free to invite your friends. You can come in and just listen too. But if you got anything you want to buy or sell, or just come and listen, because you can learn a lot just by by being kind of a fly on the wall here. So good to see everybody. Have a great New Year. We'll see you next week.